Today I fucked up by forgetting to hide my vibrator. So this just happened 30 minutes ago and I'm still internally screaming but laughing. Anyways, I just got out of the shower and had my buddy with me. After getting into my pajamas I was gonna go to the living room to get a drink before bed. I got some milk, sat down, hung out with my dogs and all was well. Until I hear my mom yell from across the house, "What the fuck is this?" I look down the hallway and she's dangling my toy, holding it by the tip and looks in shock. I'm still attending high school RN, which is why my mom's in the picture. I fucking forgot to pick up the thing and hide it back where it usually goes. Too long didn't read. Long story short, my mom now knows I'm keeping a vibrator stashed in my room. BC, I forgot to fucking hide it. Also forgive me if anything is wrong, this is my first post on Reddit. Lamo. Edit. After I told her about it she let me keep it. We have more of a sister relationship, she's not that strict. Her only concern was that she didn't want me to get a used one. Ew. My wife and I, used to keep a suction cup dildo attached to the shower wall. Not for any specific reason other than it's a convenient place to put it and it's kinda funny. Anyways, the maintenance guys in my apartment complex needed to access some shit in the ceiling of my bathroom. It's like a drop-down door. And in order to do so, had to remove the shower curtain to give enough room. All of the maintenance people and the regional manager of the company who owns the apartment complex all saw my pink dildo clung to the shower wall. No one said anything, but I was mortified once I realized it was sitting there in plain view. Now the dildo lives under the sink in the cabinet. Edit. The dildo doesn't get used anymore. It's literally just under the sink to be put away and out of sight until I get around to discarding it someday. I promise I wouldn't risk leaving it in a dirty place for future use. Smile. It's weird that she picked it up by the tip too, smiley face. I dunno mom, dad was in the bathroom before me. I didn't want to ask. Oh boy, that would put dad in an interesting spot. It's what you think it is, mom. So why did you grab a hold of it? Your comment reminds me of one of the weirdest / funniest experiences I had in high school. I was over at a girl's house who I had been dating for a while. Both of us were about 16-17 at the time. We did the deed, and afterwards I went to flush the condom down the toilet because I didn't want to leave in the trash and risk her parents seeing it. Apparently it did not go down the drain when I flushed and was just floating in there, and about 15 minutes later, her mom walked into the room we were watching a movie in, holding the used condom up and motioning to us to come and talk to her. The whole time I kept thinking, why pick it up? Many years ago, I was watching TV with my father and my nephew, probably 3 at the time, strolls on in with a dildo pressed to his cheek going, "Look pappy, I'm mom on a phone call." We both just started yelling for my sister to disinfect the baby. Today I fucked up by using coconut oil, NSFW. My husband and I welcomed baby number 2 a couple months ago. We have a roommate, a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old. So fun adult time is kinda hard to come by. We finally get the baby to settle down for sleep around 1 AM. Go time. Like a couple horny teenagers, we go at 69 right away. Husband begs to finish in my mouth, but I have plans to sit on that D. Because of breastfeeding, being on antidepressants, hooray for postpartum depression, and birth control, cause I'll be damned if we get pregnant ever again. My cooter has been dry as the Sahara Desert. We've been using coconut oil to lube things up down there. Rushing in the dark, I reach for the tub. Coconut oil is solid at room temperature, but it has been hot as Satan's ballsack the past few days, so apparently that shit had liquefied. The lid falls off and the whole liquefied tub of oil falls on my husband's chest, neck, face and all over the bed. I'm cracking the hell up but he's unamused. Totally a mood killer. Husband takes a shower while I try to clean the bed with dish soap and laundry detergent. There's still a stain there and husband is left with blue balls. Too long didn't read. Because of my greed and dry ass pussy, 69 turned into 68 and I'll owe you one. How do you not proceed to cover each other in coconut oil and continue with the deed? Some people do that on purpose. Reminds me of a scene in Van Wilder, where Taj is about to get laid, and oils up a girl so hard, and ends up applying rest of that oil on himself, and jumps on the girl. Of course he slips over the girl into burning candles, and sets himself and the room on fire. My hubby and I used to use coconut oil. Apparently, I had an as of then undiagnosed autoimmune disease. I have lupus. It's never lupus, but this time it's fucking lupus, and after using this brand new bottle of coconut oil a few times I started noticing my skin was kind of becoming discolored. I showed him and we were perplexed, but it didn't dawn on us that it was the oil. So we kept using it. Full body massage level. Next thing I know, whatever discoloration I had was now spreading. We're talking stomach, boobs, back, butt cheeks, legs. At this I panicked and immediately go to the doctor, who is also perplexed and says he has no idea before sending me away. So I go to another doctor who says and does the same thing. By this point I'm full blown freaking out and last ditch effort go to the dermatologist, who immediately proclaims, "Oh, you have a fungal skin infection." I had to take antifungal medication for 6 weeks. Then a few months later I was diagnosed with lupus, and it was like, oh, that's why Dr. House would lose his shit. Looks like your husband will probably have to resort to puts on sunglasses / palm oil / coconut oil. Also, coconut oil destroy condoms. If you are taking birth control it's okay, but it's good to know. If not, only use water-based lube. Don't put anything on a condom unless the package specifically says you can. Today I fucked up by asking for salt at a fancy restaurant. This happened 2 days ago. My partner loves going to fancy restaurants for date night. I'm not a huge fan of them, as I think it's a waste of money, and a Big Mac is just as good in my book. But we go every so often to make her happy. We ended up going to this really high-class Italian place where you have to dress to dine. We had some wine and looked over the menu, and I ended up getting the rigatoni alla carbonara because I love the big noodles, and my partner got the linguine allo scoglio. Side note, we ended up paying $200 for the wine and 2 dishes. This is why I like my Big Mac. We both got our food and we both liked it very much, but I thought my dish was a little bland and I wanted to add a touch of salt. When the waiter came back I asked him if he could add a little salt to my dish, being that they don't keep salt on the tables at these fancy joints. He took my dish back and a few minutes later returned with a somewhat flustered look on his face. He told me unfortunately the chef said I cannot add salt to this dish. I was a little upset, but I was just gonna deal with it like it wasn't a big deal. My partner on the other hand got a little confrontational. She told the waiter that we are paying a lot of money to eat here and how it was crazy to not be able to add some salt to a dish. The waiter agrees and once again takes my dish back to the kitchen. This is where we fucked up. Next thing we know, the chef of the restaurant is coming out of the kitchen carrying my plate. He was the perfect stereotype of an old Italian chef. A little round and a very thick Italian accent. He looks at me and starts to rant very aggressively about how disrespectful it was for me to ask for salt. This restaurant has a Michelin star. Do you know who's eaten here? Never in my career has someone asked to change my dish at my restaurant. This rant caused a bit of attention and soon the majority of the restaurant was staring at us getting scolded by this old Italian chef. I was extremely embarrassed, but I didn't want to argue with the chef about salt, so we just sat there and waited for him to finish. Once he was done he left me my dish and returned to the kitchen. The waiter then apologized profusely, but my partner thought it was best if we'd leave, so we paid our bill and headed out. On the way home the car ride was pretty silent as my partner was upset, but I looked at her and said McDonald's would have given me salt, and we ended up laughing about the whole situation. Moral of the story, don't ask a high-end chef to alter their dish. Or just get a Big Mac. TLDR asked a chef to add salt to a dish. He got mad and scolded me. I was a chef in my younger years. If you get too far up your own ass and can't adapt, you're not as good as you think you are. Worked at a hotel and casino. Customer ordered something that came with a fancy bread lightly toasted. He sends it back wanting it more well done. Cool man, Toss in on the flat top, get it nice and brown and back out. Comes back again, more well done. I'm like, really? It's bread, dude, want some crackers instead? But whatever, so I toss it in the actual conveyor toaster and kick it to the highest setting. This thing is as close to burnt nasty as I could get. Back out. And it comes back. So I'm like, this dude is fucking with me. Quick aside, just the bread is coming back, not his whole plate, so he's chowing down on the rest and loves it. So I take his bread and brush it with a coating of 151 rum and a touch of oil to make it stick. I light that fucker on fire and have the way to deliver it flambe. About 30 seconds later I can hear the entire dining room rolling in laughter. Didn't come back. Later the waiter hands me a folded piece of paper with a $50 in it. Note said, sorry for the trouble, always wanted to see what would happen if I sent toast back repeatedly. Thanks for the fun. Bought the kitchen around for after your shift. Talk to your manager. Thanks for a great meal. Chefs sometimes don't realize it is indeed possible for people to have different taste preferences. Next time you go, just bring those little salt packets from McDonald's. No problem. Make sure the chef watches. You don't send food back for salt to be added. You ask for salt, which they should provide unless they are pretentious pricks, which appears to be the case here. Salt and pepper are seasoned to taste. Customer is always right territory. Honestly, I live with a chef and he's taught me that you should slightly undersalt most dishes so the person eating can add salt to their own taste. Should have told him to cry more on your plate instead so you could have gotten the salt you fucking asked for.